So just how low is Sam Leavitt going to fall in our Big 12 quarterback rankings? Find out in 30 seconds.
Welcome on in, everybody, to the AZ Wildcats podcast. I'm your host, Damon Fairall. That is Kevin Thomas, and we are live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K in beautiful, lovely downtown Phoenix at PHNX HQ3, celebrating the 4th year anniversary of when PHNX Sports was founded. Thank you, Kevin. Clap it up, live it up, people. But yeah, PHNX Sports going strong for 4 years now, and we are happy to continue and take that baton and just keep it rolling, Kevin.
Dude, I'm so thankful that I was hired at this company when I was. I really feel like I came in at the right time because they let a little guy like me with no experience doing what we're doing do what we do. And I'm very, very thankful to be a part of this family here at PHNX. Even though we have our squabbles from time to time over the schools we chose, ultimately it is still a family environment here at PHNX. And you know, me and Damon, we're not the agitators. We just punch back. We defend ourselves, and that's all it is. But yeah, shout out to PHNX. Shout out to our great family of, hosts and producers and management team here, keeping us lights on for 4 years. Here's to 4 more,
Yeah, cheers to 4 more, Kevin. And in celebration of our 4-year anniversary, we're doing a flash sale on our GoPHNX.com website, or I guess it's technically ALLCITYStore.com or something like that. Let me figure that out real quick. But we're doing a quick 20% off flash sale on all PHNX merchandise in accordance for the anniversary that we've got, and we got some brand new fire t-shirts up on the locker, including some new Cardinals t-shirts, Kevin, branded into Arizona flag type stuff all over it. I mean,
really beautiful stuff.
Yeah,
man.
It really is. And like I said, 20% off today only. Go check that stuff out if you are interested. We got some sweet Wildcat stuff up on there as well. The loyalty tee, also representing T-Mac and Noah, sticking it out at Arizona and not leaving when given the first opportunity to. The BTFD t-shirt with the cactus logo. I mean, yes. Great stuff.
It's great stuff. And also, if you really support this channel, if you really support the Wildcats, show it and become a member. And if you are a member, drop the bear down emote right now in the chat. And if you haven't got that bear down emote, go get it. For I think just like $5 a month, you can become a member. If you already send super chats, looking at UAZ Cats G, if you are, my grandpa, my mom, they're already in the membership group. So drop your emojis, become a part of the exclusive group, show your Wildcat pride in all the chats. This is something you can do in the ASU chat. You can go over there right now. Well, I guess not right now. They're probably not on air anymore. But you can go over there right now and drop a bear down.
Yeah, spamming the little Wildcats hand signal. You're so right, Kevin. It's a great way to show your pride. It's a great way to show other people here in the chat that you're someone that is here all the time and a staple of the chat. And become a supporting member of PHNX Sports today for the low price of $5 a month. You get all kinds of cool emojis and benefits, including some potentially extra content that maybe we could give you guys to try to say shout out for being a supporting member. But like Kevin said, if you're a super chatter, this is something for you. You also get, this is a big part of it, Kevin, that was explained to me this morning, you get 1 free super chat a month. So essentially for $5 a month, it's as if you're paying for a super chat, but with extra benefits involved as well. So become a supporting member of PHNX Sports today. Helps us out so much. Support your favorite local sports media company. But Kevin, we do have a lot to get into today, and a Kansas State game that is fast approaching on us on a Friday here.
And I'm excited. The short week has got me kind of pumped up. We're doing all our preview just a little bit early this week because you do have the Friday night lights. And I know Brent Brennan brought that up, and we love when Brent Brennan talks about stuff like that. But I really do think that the Friday night lights are going to be fun. It's retro night in Tucson. The fans are going to be out. I know Brent Brennan already reiterated this, but I want to see what kind of retro gear Tucson can bring out. Damon knows this, and I know people in the chat probably know this, but Tucson has some of the best like retro gear that you can get of any sports city out there.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know what I mean? So I'm interested to see the track jackets. I'm interested to see the varsity letter jackets and all that good jazz, Damon. And yeah, I'm excited for Friday night. Bring on the other Wildcats, and we're fighting for Wildcat supremacy back-to-back weeks. And I hope Brent Brennan and the squad can get it done. They should potentially be able to get it done. The books tell you they should be able to get it done.
Well,
but will they get it done?
You snip, snap, as our guy Justin Spears tweeted earlier today. And we'll bring on Justin later this week to kind of preview the Kansas State matchup and what he's hearing from a Big J perspective, something that me and Kevin don't necessarily provide as much, being the gas bag pundits that we tend to be on this program.
Don't get it messed up, y'all. We are not Justin Spears. And as much as I would love to be Justin Spears, you know, he has that, he is in that Big J world, and, you know, me and Damon just aren't a part of that world. We're in a different world.
The world needs more Justin Spears.
Yes.
I don't know if the world needs a lot more Damon Dogs, but, you know, you got one right here sitting in front of you.
We need a pack of Damon's dogs. Just like wild Damon's dogs.
That's too much. That's too much. Like, even I can admit that would be a bit annoying, you know?
Yeah.
But I, you know, Justin's killing it. He always is. And, you know, there's a level of professionalism that goes into the line of work that Justin does versus what we do, where, you know, we still like to keep it professional and keep it clean, but
we also might laugh at Sam Leavitt from time to time on Twitter, and that's okay.
Because of other people laughing at us all off season, thinking that their crap doesn't stink.
Well,
but
it's our fault though, but it's actually our fault. You know
yeah,
I mean? Let them tell it. It's our fault.
We shouldn't be mean.
No.
We shouldn't be hashtag mean. Because,
No jokes.
Yeah, that hurts people's feelings. And we all know how nice ASU fans are to us when things are going poorly. But
very kind.
Kevin, we did our own personal Big 12 quarterback power rankings today. Speaking of being unkind to one Sam Leavitt, excuse me. And maybe this will ruffle some feathers. Maybe this will get back to the, kind of work its way back and say, no more. You guys can't say anything mean about our sweet baby boy Sam Leavitt anymore. But we're going to do it anyways. And we're excited to be doing these quarterback rankings. Are we going to do this every week?
We should.
Okay. I'm
we
down.
could do every other week. I think it's harder to
It is a little bit
judge
more
quarterbacks week to week. So we could do every other week. We're already starting after week 2. So we could just go after week 4, after week 6, and so on and so forth.
That's fair. I like that. I was almost thinking, like, I wish we did this before the season.
Same.
And then did like as one of our pictures that's command stripped to the wall just takes a tumble, and I knew exactly what it was when it happened. I almost wanted to do like a preseason, quarter season, mid-season, 3/4 season, postseason review. Like that would almost be my like ideal way of going about it. But I think every other week works well in a similar regard. So we'll stick with that plan. We'll do every other week and update it for you guys. But I'm sure there's going to be some fireworks. If the wrong people get a hold of this one, Kevin, like
yikes.
We're talking about like getting cooked by whoever crazy fan base's Twitter fan base finds it. But should we dive into it, or do you want to maybe talk a little bit more about the Kansas State preview before we do so?
I think we got a lot of time to preview K-State. Not too much time because it does come up on a Friday. But I think we should get right into our power rankings, Damon. You started off our power rankings the other day.
Absolutely.
I think I will take the baton this time and fall on the sword and put myself out there first. This is my Big 12 quarterbacks power rankings for after week 2. I mean, like Damon said, we have not done a preseason one, so this is all the same rankings. You don't have any up or down movement on there. Let's start at the bottom, Zane Flores. I don't really have to explain this one too much.
Zane Flores, upset of the year that he looks like that.
Correct. He looks like Trevor Lawrence in his 24/7 picture, and he's from Nebraska. Zane Lawrence, blondie from Nebraska. First time for everything. I don't got to explain this one too much. Comes in for Haas Haney and hasn't been the answer for Oklahoma State. He is the worst quarterback right now in the conference. Nico Marchiol. That interception against Ohio was really bad to end that game in a game where you had a chance against a team that you're not supposed to be in a battle with, like in Ohio, right? You're West Virginia, you're a Big 12 side. I think, Marchiol has not really shown much to me this season, and that's why he's number 15. Coming in at number 14.
Nico Mannion.
I do have.
It is Marchial, though.
Yeah, it is. I do have Taven Jackson. And now I actually thought about having Taven Jackson as high as where Sam Leavitt is at 11. No, because here's why, though. It sounds crazy, but here's why. He's been okay, and the talent is there. I've not been impressed with his production against bad sides. But his statistics are pretty decent if you look at where he ranks in quarterback rating and completion percentage and stuff like that. So I think he's keeping it somewhat efficient for UCF, and he's not losing them games actively on his own. But he's not really any more impressive than some of the guys above him. So for that, he comes in at number 14.
471 yards for Taven Jackson this year, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks. UCF has played Jacksonville State and North Carolina A&T, and he only has the 2 touchdown passes. He does have 2 touchdowns on the ground as well, but only with 6 yards rushing. So he's not exactly providing a whole lot with his wheels exactly. But yeah, I mean, nothing from a Taven Jackson standpoint to say man, he really sucks or he blew it. He came out of the game early against North Carolina A&T. They were just crushing them. They were in a dogfight versus Jacksonville State, but he gave you 17 of 24, 282 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks. He had a pretty good game, all things considered. Honestly, if you told me that was his stat line before the game, I would have said that UCF probably dog walked Jacksonville State. So that's pretty interesting that they only ended up with 17 points. But yeah, Taven Jackson's not a bad quarterback.
No,
it doesn't look like he's just not necessarily a good one either, or
Correct.
a great one.
I think there's talent there. He just hasn't really been able to show much of it. Obviously, that UCF side is not good this year. But he is, like I said, top 6 in yards and quarterback rating in the Big 12 Conference. So it's not like he's just, not doing anything for UCF. He's keeping it efficient, and for that, he comes in lower on my rankings, but higher than some of the worst quarterbacks in the conference. And then we get to Ryan Staub from Colorado. And you might be like, well, why isn't Kaidon Salter on my screen right now? And I would tell you, it's actually because Deion has announced that Ryan Staub will take the starting job from Kaidon Salter for this upcoming week against Houston. Now, I was listening to our friends over at DMVR Buffs this morning. Yes, I was listening to yesterday's show, and they were talking about how, in terms of who will start, some of them believe that it should be Kaidon Salter, and that Ryan Staub, has done enough to maybe get a shot, and this is his shot. But I call back to what I said yesterday about Colorado. If you have brought in a high-level transfer and a 5-star prospect, and they're getting beat out by the third-string guy who has been there for a couple years and you've had the chance to see him, credit to Ryan Staub. And that's why he comes in higher than some of the other guys on my list at, I believe 13 here. He comes in at 13 because I think it's impressive that he's clearly beat out a high-level transfer and a 5-star freshman for a starting job that you could argue he had a great stake in from the start once Shadur left, right? So I think that's impressive enough to get him in at 13, but no higher. He's played Delaware and looked good so far. So I'm not really too impressed with Ryan Staub. I'm more confused as to what the hell is going on with Colorado's quarterback situation. Because if I'm Kaidon Salter, I'm like, first of all, I've done enough to get the starting job. Second of all, I have not been given a start yet this year where I have not been looking over my shoulder as to when is the next guy coming in. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's unfair to a guy like Salter who comes in to be the guy, or at least compete with JuJu Lewis. And now you've competed with JuJu Lewis, you've won the job, kind of, but they're still rotating quarterbacks. So I don't really have a lot of faith in what Colorado is doing at quarterback. I think it's not conducive to development, I think, right now, outside of JuJu Lewis, who's getting some early snaps. You might still be able to redshirt him if you want to. But for Salter and for Staub, this is not, I think, the best way to do it. And hopefully, if you're Colorado fans, hopefully you have some stability now with Staub in at quarterback. We'll see this upcoming weekend how that looks. Coming in at number 12, Bear Bachmeier. I think Bear Bachmeier has been pretty damn impressive in a way. Stepping into the starting job at BYU, there are high expectations for that program within that fan base. Total question mark as to what number 47 is going to be able to do from the quarterback position. And he stepped in, Damon, and he's been fine. He leads BYU in rushing touchdowns. He's a bit of a versatile quarterback in that way. And you know what he hasn't done for BYU? Looked really bad. He's looked serviceable, and he's managed the games, and he's done what Kalani Sitake has asked him to do. And I think he's shown the foundations of being a pretty decent quarterback at BYU. So that's why he comes in at number 12. He's had a positive start to the year. His rushing numbers are pretty impressive as well. And so Bear Bachmeier comes in that next quarter there at number 12.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Bear Bachmeier is he hasn't made mistakes, and that's good to see. I think that's encouraging from a freshman standpoint. He also, really hasn't had to do a whole lot. like BYU, the 2 games BYU has played have just been pure domination, really. And Portland State didn't belong on the field with them. That's why it was 69-0 at the end of the game.
Nice.
Stanford 27-3. They lost to Hawaii. Like, they're not a good football team as things currently stand. I'm not going to sit here and be like, wow, what a season thus far from Bear Bachmeier. Because there are true freshman quarterbacks that legitimately come in and light the world on fire.
They're game changers.
Yeah, 100%. And he hasn't shown that thus far. 272 yards in 2 games is obviously close to nothing.
Correct.
But I do think that the idea that he hasn't made a bunch of mistakes is impressive. The idea that he seems to be able to facilitate their offense and kind of game manage while letting their defense tee off and skill position players make plays, I think bodes well for BYU's success later in the year. But yeah, I'm not exactly riding high on Bear Bachmeier right now, being like, oh my God.
Can you believe it?
Does BYU have a chokehold on this conference for 3 years with Bachmeier under center? Yeah, it's he looks like he'll be a good player, but he's not currently yet.
He's going to be serviceable, and you can get through this season with Bear Bachmeier as your quarterback, and I think that is the bare minimum. And I think what has him at 12 on my list is that he has 6 total touchdowns to no interceptions in a job that he's a true freshman coming in with big expectations. Not for him as an individual, but for that team. There's big expectations for that team in Utah.
For sure.
And so
anytime you start as a true freshman, I'd say there's a ton of pressure and expectations put on your shoulders.
Yeah.
So, what he does need to be I think scaled to other people. I'm not holding Noah Fifita and Bear Bachmeier to the same standard because that would just be completely unfair. But I do think that he does figure to be one of the bottom starting quarterbacks in this conference for his first season here in the league. And there's a lot of good quarterbacks in this conference.
And when I'm looking at BYU's schedule, Damon, he's really not going to be asked to do a lot at more than 3 or 4 games this season. BYU has East Carolina coming up on the road, Colorado on the road, which is a tough environment, but I'm not convinced that Colorado is a team with the defense that BYU has. You know what I mean? I'm not convinced that Colorado is going to be the team that gives Bear Bachmeier a huge amount of trouble, even if it is on the road.
Yeah.
West Virginia, they're in the bottom of the barrel of this conference right now. I don't think that they're going to give. Hell, they couldn't even give Parker Navarro a challenge. You know what I mean? And Parker Navarro is very good. Knock there says it in the chat. Parker Navarro is very good. But Arizona, I think, the homer in me says they should be able to give Bear Bachmeier a huge amount of issues. I don't know how much bias I have going in, being able to see the forest for the trees there. I think Arizona should be able to give him a challenge, but I'm not going to sit here and act like Bear Bachmeier should be shaking in his boots to play the Cats. I don't think so. Utah, I think that's the first game in a date yet to be announced and a time yet to be announced.
I actually cannot wait for that game.
That's going to be an electric game. And I think that's the first true challenge for Bear Bachmeier. When he's going to be tested is up against that Utah team that seems to be really damn frisky this year. And it's at home. So that's a good thing for Bear Bachmeier that it is at home. But
that's the only rivalry in the country that I can feel the hatred through my phone screen that's even more palpable than perhaps even Arizona versus Arizona State. Usually ASU versus U of A always seems like the nastiest of nasty rivalries to me. And then I come across BYU and Utah fans coming at each other's throats. And I'm like, whoa, because it's almost they have almost a life difference view. It's
a lifestyle difference.
It's much deeper than straight up just the, I always say Arizona and Arizona State fans, as much as we hate each other and act like we're so different, we're really one and the same. It's the same type of people, same vibe of people. And I think the similarities almost make you hate your rival that much more. You're I hate those guys. You know what I mean? It kind of feeds into it. BYU and Utah is almost, it's a lifestyle type of differential. It's it's so nasty. It's so gross. And I can't wait for that to be tangible, meaningful conference games being decided in that rivalry instead of just as a non-conference game every year. It's going to be just electric stuff.
It is going to be electric. And like I was saying, that's going to be the first time that Bear Bachmeier gets challenged this year. So until then, we'll see what Bear Bachmeier has to say. But coming in at number 11 is a Heisman candidate, is a top 10 draft pick. I don't know if you knew that, Damon. Sam Leavitt.
He is the Heisman.
He is the Heisman. Sawyer Robertson might be a number 1, but Sam
He
Leavitt
is the if man.
I don't know if you noticed, but 2 1s is more than 1 1. And so Sawyer Robertson being at number 1 and Sam Leavitt being at number 11 is actually more impressive. That was my ASU fan impression right there. But no, what does that smell? What's that smell?
Hashtag, do you think we cannot see you?
Sam Leavitt has been awful to start this season. The second worst quarterback rating in the conference so far, only in front of Zane Flores, who is the worst quarterback in the conference, and it's not close. Like, Sam Leavitt has not been good. He leads the conference in interceptions. He did not solo-handedly, but had a huge role in Arizona State losing that game against Mississippi State.
Yeah.
I mean, Professor Arm Punt himself, Sam Leavitt. I think, like, I don't know. Like, this is one of the quarterbacks on this list, I think, of the bottom half guys. I think Sam Leavitt and Avery Johnson are the 2 that I would really pick out and say, by the end of the year, you know, those guys, in theory, could be top 3. But right now, like, after 2 games, Sam Leavitt is one of the worst quarterbacks in the conference right now.
Undeniable fact.
He has played awful.
How many quarterbacks have basically single-handedly lost their team a game thus far?
Of the elite ones, probably not many. If
of the
at all.
ones in front of Sam Leavitt, we'll say.
Nope. Nope. Maybe Avery Johnson, but not really.
I mean, you could probably argue that he
hasn't helped, but has he?
I mean, I would say Avery Johnson. Listen, I didn't watch the entire Army game. Avery Johnson definitely didn't single-handedly lose Kansas State the game versus Iowa State. That was a whole offense thing. They couldn't move the ball at all. And then against Army, I didn't watch it. I would imagine that if you only put up like 24 points, that you're probably pretty bad. But I think that's a whole offense thing as well. When you're watching that ASU Mississippi State game, Kevin, this is the thing about it. When they kept the ball out of Sam Leavitt's hands, they looked great. They were hella successful. They were putting the ball on the ground in Kanye Udo and Raleek Brown's hands, and me and you were looking at each other going, damn.
Yikes.
Damn. They came back and they won after 17-0. That's crazy. I can't believe they pulled this off. They're going to be riding high after a game where they really shouldn't be riding high. I think me and you were like predisposed to being like, they're really about to go crazy right now on, you know, whether or not, you know, if they win the game based off of their quarterback having like a terrible performance, but it doesn't matter for them. They just care about the W. Then they end up losing, and it's like, who's at fault? The play caller and the quarterback are the only 2, and only one of those guys is on the football field. So as far as people on the football field, I got one person to blame for that game, essentially. Unless you want to blame like Xavier Alford for falling down, but like I think that's just a common physical error. Like that happens every once in a while. You can't break it down to one play. I can, however, break it down to 10 for 22 for 82 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 2 picks, including a game-sealing interception.
Really, really bad statistics for Sam Leavitt so far. If he didn't have about 100 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns rushing, like we're talking about like Sam Leavitt being down there with the Nico Maricals or Marichals, wherever the hell his name is of the world.
From what he's put on tape so far this season, he does kind of belong in that group.
If we didn't know
he's down there.
If we didn't know he was more talented than this, he would be down there.
Yeah,
but I know he's better than that, so I cannot, in good conscience, put him below a guy like Bear Bachmeier, who's played 2 games in college total.
Yeah, I mean, I like. You obviously don't want to spoil my list completely. I have him a little bit higher than you do. And that's like when I go into my explanation, it's not because I think he's played better thus far than the players in front of him necessarily. It's because it's hard for me to put a guy that I think is more talented and a better football player behind some of these other pieces, especially when it happened on the road in an insane environment versus an SEC school. Like there is context that matters and should be applied to this. If Sam Leavitt played Stanford and Portland State, what would his stats be? You know, like certainly a lot better than Bear Bachmeier's, I would argue. So, you know, I think that context does apply, but as things currently stand, he's the one guy who's like kind of lost his team a game. And that's a kind of a bad place to be when you're like, you were considered assuredly the best quarterback returning in this conference over guys who are legitimate Heisman contenders year in and year out. And yeah, Kobe's been saying it all offseason. Is it a Ryan Tannehill situation? Like, is this just like he looked good in some moments and he looks athletic and tall and he has a good arm. and then you get some tape on him and you start playing him differently, and it doesn't look as clean.
You know what this isn't, Damon? And this is kind of what Kobe was alluding to at the end of his comment when he says he couldn't even play for a 3-9 Michigan State team. This isn't Joe Burrow, right? This is not a quarterback transferring from like a legacy program and where he just had the level of competition and where he was at with his development in relation to it was not good enough, and he transfers to LSU, and now you can really see the star that was inside of Joe Burrow the whole time. Sam Leavitt's coming from Michigan State. Like, Michigan State's fine as a football program. You know what I mean? But this is not like some ungodly competition for quarterback that Sam Leavitt just barely couldn't crack. And now he goes to ASU where it's like, of course you're the only real guy there. You got Jeff Sims backing you up. Sunday guy, I know. But, like, that's not someone who it would be, if you're at Sam Leavitt's level, is hard to win a quarterback competition against. You can run the ball for 100 yards against NAU with ease. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think Sam Leavitt is talented, but to Kobe's point, like, this is not some, diamond in the rough player and you found a generational talent out of Michigan State. This is a good quarterback. That's what Sam Leavitt is. He's a good quarterback. And that's like, it's not an insult to Sam Leavitt to call him a good quarterback and not a great quarterback until he shows us that he's a great quarterback without a great running back. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Moving on from what is that smell, Sam Leavitt. Brendan Sorsby. He's passed for 3, rushed for 3, over 136 yards on the ground. Has not actively, killed Cincinnati in these games to my memory. He comes in one spot above Sam Leavitt. Connor Wegman in at number 9. I think the Connor Wegman, Damon and I, we had very little expectations for him coming into this year, and that's why he comes in at 9, because he's pretty much delivered on the mid expectations we had. He's been somewhat steady, 6th in the Big 12 in QBR, 8th in touchdowns in the Big 12, and 10th in completion percentage. So I feel like 9 is about right for Connor Wegman. Coming in at number 8, we got Avery Johnson, who has played worse than I think his stats actually show you. He has not been able to lead his team to come back or even to beat teams that are below them so far this season. 9th in the conference in completion percentage, while 2nd in the Big 12 in yards, 4th in touchdowns, and 10th in QBR. So I do feel like that averages out to about an 8 rating for Avery Johnson. And then our beloved Noah Fifita comes in at number 7. And I really wanted to put Noah Fifita up into that top 6, top 5 kind of range because he's been awesome so far this season, but he also hasn't really played anyone, right? And I know that Jalen Daniels threw that pick at the end of the Mizzou game, but for portions of that game, Jalen Daniels looked like one of the best quarterbacks in the conference against a real SEC side in Mizzou. And now will Mizzou win the conference? No. But they are competitive usually in that SEC conference. So I think pound for pound, Noah Fifita comes in here at about 7. And then you also have number 6, Josh Hoover. And I think Josh Hoover, despite just playing the one game, has looked absolutely elite. I know that he struggled at times in that UNC game, throwing that interception, for example, the pick 6 that was. But he was able to lead them in enemy territory to a victory. He looked really good. He looked every bit of the Josh Hoover that was advertised despite the interception. I know you can't take it away, but I do think all things involved, Josh Hoover comes in at number 6. Number 5, Jalen Daniels, for the same reasons I spotted earlier. 4th in completion percentage in the Big 12. 4th in QB rating in the Big 12. The stats back up the eye test. Jalen Daniels has been one of the best Big 12 quarterbacks this season. And then Devin Dampier of Utah. I mean, I don't know if I would have had him this high preseason. I probably would have had him in that top 8. But, I mean, Devin Dampier has been incredibly impressive for Utah. He's kind of revitalized. Him and his OC partner from New Mexico coming over to Utah have revitalized that offensive pace and progress over there. Leads the Big 12 in completion percentage, and he's 3rd in the conference in QBR. Devin Dampier has been really impressive.
He has.
He really has.
He's made me look pretty silly here, Kevin, in the first part of the season because I was a doubter. I was a Devin Dampier truther, I guess I should say. But it's looking like a falser because the guy looks unbelievable. And to be fair, he put up 39 points on a healthy Arizona team who was a Big 12 opponent last year in week 1. Like, he has played at this level of competition. He looks really good right now. It'll be interesting to see how he does once Big 12 play starts. But Devin Dampier looks like a pretty damn impressive quarterback.
And then rounding out my list, top 3, Baron Morton of Texas Tech. 7-0 touchdown to interception ratio, second best passer rating in the conference, second best completion percentage in the conference. If Texas Tech had any higher level of opponents, I'd probably put them above Rocco Becht. Because I think Baron Morton has been more of an actual game changer rather than game manager than Rocco Becht has. But number 2, Rocco Becht has been the steady hand that has led the best team in the conference, and they have real wins over Iowa, K-State. And I know that it's just the 4th-ranked FCS school, but they handled them with ease.
They killed them.
They killed them. And so I really think that Rocco Becht deserves this number 2 spot over Baron Morton. Baron Morton just has not played the dogs that Rocco Becht has. And this is the easiest pick of them all. Some picks on this list were quite hard. Number 1 was not difficult. Sawyer Robertson, this is his conference right now. You could say if he keeps playing like this that he's going to not only be in New York, but be the one receiving the trophy in New York at the end of the season if he keeps this up. Baylor, despite their porous defense, has been kept in these games by their great quarterback, and that's Sawyer Robertson. I think that Sawyer Robertson has been by far and away the best quarterback in the conference so far. 7-0 touchdown interception ratio, double overtime win against SMU on the road, battle with Auburn, and was let down by his defense in that game yet again. So Sawyer Robertson, plaudits. Like, what a start to the year. He has been as advertised, and he comes in at number 1 on my power rankings.
Yeah, there's no question about who's number 1 here. Sawyer Robertson has been by far the best quarterback in this conference so far this season. He's played 2 legit teams, and he's looked really good doing so. Like they had no business being in that Auburn game with the way that their defense was playing, and Sawyer Robertson kept them in it. And that's what the elite of the elite quarterbacks do. They don't fold over and throw sub 50% completion percentages and sub 100 yards and game-sealing interceptions when they play against good teams. They step up in those moments. And Sawyer Robertson is clearly stepping up while others falter. But, Kevin, we're going to get into my power rankings of quarterbacks in the Big 12, see where me and you differ. Is there any debate that could be had? We'll do that right after the break here on the AZ Wildcats pod.
And Damon, the weekend is kind of far.
The freaking weekend.
But it's Friday somewhere. It's Friday 5 p.m. somewhere. And if you need to relax, unwind, or just celebrate or just catch a vibe any day, Pure Edibles is the company for you. A full-fledged candy company now offering the fun stuff in all the same forms. The gummies, the hard candy, the chews, and also the kicks, which is like a Starburst kind of a vibe there. But they also mix it in with the fun stuff like CBN, CBG, CBD, and marijuana-derived THC. They are designed to be ripped and shared, or if you're not trying to share and you're an only child like me, it's just easy to dial in that exact dosage that you want. If you want 1.5, you can have 1.5. Hell, if you want the whole tin, you can have the whole tin. That is not medical advice. But who says happy hour has to end? Like I said at the start of this, it doesn't have to end. Right at Noble Road's new Tower Station IPA all-in-one. It's happy hour all the time. I got one from our guy Connor the other day. I might try it tonight when I go to the Mercury game. I'll have my girlfriend drive, whip out the thunder sticks, honk, Natasha Mack. This experience will be fueled by Pure Edibles. So go find yourself some Pure Edibles products from one of the over 130, that's right, 130 dispensaries dispense the best edibles and the most pure edibles in the game. Check them out.
I'm not going to say that Pure Edibles products times Phoenix Mercury games are not a good combo, Kevin, but I'm not sure that Pure Edibles products times Thunder Sticks is necessarily the product that I want going on. I don't know if I want loud, slappy things in my ear. But
that's why they have the different effects. You could have if you are too uptight, you could get unwind. You know what I mean? So hey, if you just want to be like, I don't even care about these loud noises.
You know me, I'm way too wound up for that. The second someone claps in my ear, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? But of course, match made in heaven. We talk about Pure Edibles. It's now Circle K, guys. Become an Inner Circle Rewards member today. It's the program that is saving people money left and right. If you haven't signed up yet, you just hate money. It's so simple to sign up. You download a free app, you pick an email, you pick a password, and you're done. And the savings are right there in front of your face. You get 25 cents off per gallon for your first 5 fill-ups, 3 cents off per gallon after that, until you reach a threshold that gets you into the 5 cents off premium membership like me and Kevin. Guys, I've saved so much money in the short time that the Inner Circle Rewards membership program has been a thing. It's been a thing for about 2 years here, and I have just saved probably hundreds of dollars just being a member, buying things that I would buy anyways, but getting discounts that I wouldn't get anyways on it. Please sign up today for all kinds of membership benefits. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. And here's one of the great things they also have. They have fuel days where if you become an Inner Circle member and you plug in that phone number at the pump, you're going to save 40 cents off per gallon.
That's unreal, man.
When you fill up. Those happen sporadically throughout the year. There's usually about one a month. So keep on the lookout for those always.
I mean, the savings, they just don't stop there. Damon, will you be saving Sam Levitt in your power rankings or not?
More so than you, but I do want to remind people that are here in our chat, hanging out with us. Please like this video. Helps us out so much. If you wouldn't mind and you have a second here while you're sitting down listening, maybe you're at home, maybe you're off work already, go to your favorite audio podcasting platform. Find our podcast, AZ Wildcats Podcast. Rate and review. Give us 5 stars. Say why you love me and Kevin. You don't even have to really put a message in there if you don't want to. Give us 5 stars and tell us why we suck. I don't care. Just as long as it says 5 stars, that's all I care about. So please do that. Helps us out way more than you guys could even imagine. Something so simple as taking a minute, 2 minutes to write a review is extremely helpful stuff, guys. So we appreciate it always.
Shout out to Finman in the chat, who has not only subscribed to the channel, but says they have left a review as well. So, I mean, and plus they have good takes. They also say, I think AZ can have a winning record this year. I think so too. I think the floor is 6-6 right now.
I love that, Kevin. I still think the floor is 5-7 because I've been hurt so many times by this football program. And I know I told you all offseason I'm ready to be hurt again because I really geared myself up for it. But I think I'm kind of starting to just think maybe we were just on the money with our positivity that we had going into the year. Not that like we think that this team is like going to be in the Peach Bowl or something, but we do believe that they are, much better than what the consensus idea of where they were in the offseason was, which was like 4 or 5 wins. Bottom 3 team in this conference. I mean, Kevin, every list we looked at had us with Oklahoma State and West Virginia. Did it not?
Yeah.
Every single list we looked at.
Egregious, honestly.
Was Arizona, West Virginia, Oklahoma State, bottom 3. Everyone. And you're right, it is egregious because Arizona is significantly better than those teams. And that's why I tweeted that yesterday. During the games last week when Oklahoma State was getting just murdered, waxed by Oregon, when what was it? The result, West Virginia loses to Ohio. I tweeted, Arizona is a far cry above these horrific teams. Just from watching them for 1 week, I could tell. And I had people being like, is that really something to celebrate? And I'm like, no, I'm not celebrating it. What I'm doing is pointing out how freaking wrong people were the entire offseason trying to group us in with those schools when that was just ridiculous in the first place.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I also think like what part of it is, Damon, is, and I hate when people do this to me, but I'm going to reason it out, right? I don't know if these people that did the preseason rankings fully like wholeheartedly believed that Arizona would be in the bottom 3.
I don't think they're informed.
That's what I'm getting at. I think it's lazy.
Know.
I think it's lazy analytics, and I understand it though. Because if you're not around the program like me and Damon are all the time, like, and you're not listening to Seth Diggy, and you're not in the same rooms as these people to feel the energy that they're bringing to the program, you could totally look at a Brent Brennan side that ultimately just changed a new OC and brought back the same quarterback and a bunch of, FCS players coming in. Like, it's tough to really evaluate that unless you're in the room, unless you can feel like the energy change that me and Damon have felt, that the fans that pay attention to Arizona football have felt. I could totally see how preseason you could say, well, it's Brent Brennan year 2. What's really changed outside of you losing some elite NFL talent like Tyrone McMillan and Tyler Loop? It's lazy. I can see how they get there. I don't agree with it, but I hope that they're learning as Arizona plays these games.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. And why don't we get into my quarterback rankings here, Kevin, for the Big 12 and see what me and you maybe have different when it comes to where we're going. But I'm going Zane Flores bottom again, just like
shocker.
He honestly, like, I almost just want him to be here because of what he looks like versus what his name is. Because I expected like California surfer, slicked back hair, like curly kind of hair vibe. No, I didn't get that at all.
If you swapped Zane Flores' face with Nico Marical's face, I could see it. I could see Nico being a Zane.
Yeah.
And I could see Zane being a Nico.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on.
For sure. Nico Marchiol coming in at second to bottom, and deserved after that horrific loss to Ohio. Bear Bachmeier, I know me and we were kind of discussing this, Kevin. He just hasn't, for me, been asked to really do anything. And that's why I put him at 14. I'm not trying to say like he's a bad quarterback. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I just think that he has been asked to do so little that I'm unwilling to put him above players that I believe have done at least something this year. Like I'll talk about Colorado's QB here in a second, but like Taven Jackson has at least shown me like good statistics, right? Even if we didn't have high expectations for him going into the season. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. How do you feel about my Bear Bachmeier rating there, Kevin?
I like your logic. Like I get it. I think I looked at mine a little bit differently in terms of like he's being asked to not do anything, but he's also doing fine. And I think coming in, a lot of pressure on him. I gave my explanation as to why I had him where I had him, but I like your logic, and I can get there. I can get there with Bear Bachmeier.
Bo Brockmeyer.
Shout out to our Cardinals team. But yeah, I think like it's not crazy. I think the 14 through 11 on your list, I guess outside of Sorsby, but they're all pretty interchangeable in my opinion, right? Like if you had Bear Bachmeier where you have Brennan Sorsby, I guess that's where I had him. That's fine, right? But like if you had him above Ryan Staub, I think that's fine too. If you had him above Taven Jackson, I could see the vision. But I think with Bear Bachmeier, there are just still so many question marks. I think you can make several arguments as to where he should be on the list.
After that, you're pushing it a little bit because, like, could you imagine how good Avery Johnson might look if he was playing with BYU?
God.
And
with that defense?
Not to say Kansas State is some pathetic program, but it does feel like they have things kind of set in place a little bit more. So, like, I think this BYU team with Jake Retzlaff would potentially be top 2-3 contender for the conference right now, especially considering they tied last year and they lost a tiebreaker to not make it, especially with the way ASU has looked so far this season, kind of being the presumed favorites. So that changed the math on a lot there. But kind of moving forward here, Ryan Staub, I'll put him at 13 just ahead of Bear Bachmeier because I think he got put into a difficult situation. He's come out on top and earned some playing time out of it. But ultimately, I really would put, I think, all of Colorado's quarterbacks right above Bear Bachmeier. I think I'd put Julian Lewis above Bear Bachmeier, too, if he was their true starting quarterback, because I think his ceiling is a little bit higher. I definitely would put Kaidon Salter higher. And Ryan Staub has earned that spot, so I think he belongs to be in this as well because he's above both of those guys in the pecking order as of now. And he was the most successful against Delaware last week. So we'll have him there. I think there's like a lot of question marks about Ryan Staub, how truly good he could be. But moving forward, Brendan Sorsby, great runner, had a really good game against Bowling Green, which obviously like not the end all be all. You're not going to take a ton of stock into a win against Bowling Green, but 333 yards passing in that game, Kevin, 40 on the ground and 4 touchdowns, 0 turnovers. Really, really solid stuff from Brendan Sorsby there. He was putrid against Nebraska. 13 of 25 for 69 yards. Very Sam Leavitt-esque out of Brendan Sorsby there. And that's why he finds himself, kind of in that spot because the one decent team he's played has been a disaster class. I know Sam Leavitt, you could make the same argument for. I think I've seen enough out of Sam Leavitt in the past to put him higher than this crew, that these like 4 quarterbacks that are kind of right behind him here for me, Kevin. That's why I have him 8 versus where you had him at the number 11 spot. But like Avery Johnson, I think Sam Leavitt's just a better quarterback than him. I know Avery Johnson has a lot of good counting stats. I think if you watch those games, you wouldn't walk away being very overly impressed with what he's done. I think the ceiling is obviously very high with Avery Johnson, but basing off of losing to Army and barely beating North Dakota and that pathetic offensive showing versus Iowa State, I got to put you like on the back end of the top 10 here, despite, maybe what people's preconceived notions of how good Avery Johnson was going into the season.
Yeah, I'm thinking about this argument here, and I'm listening to it, and I'm trying to see if I want to change my mind on where I have Avery Johnson in mind. I had Avery Johnson at 8. If we recall here, these are my top 16. I had Avery Johnson there at 8. I'm wondering if I after the show should move Avery Johnson. We could talk about this a little more off air, but I don't know, Damon. Ultimately, as you see, this is where Damon has Avery Johnson in at number 10. And Sam Leavitt in at number 8. I like your logic though, Damon, is really what I'm getting at here. That we've seen it more from Sam Leavitt than we have Avery Johnson. With Avery Johnson, it feels like it's a bit more projection of what he should or could be in a lot of ways. And so far this season, he really, and like I said in my analysis, like he hasn't led his team to victory in these games. I know that he hasn't really, been the sole reason they've lost either. But yeah, no, I like where you have him on your list, Damon.
Yeah, I just think that Avery Johnson, like, I don't know, man. I feel like if ASU had lost to like Army, how would we be clowning them right now? How would we be clowning Sam Leavitt? And Avery Johnson didn't necessarily do anything to make that game better for Kansas State's perspective. But Connor Weigman, I thought honestly, Kevin, I thought your what you said about Connor Weigman was a little bit dismissive almost. I think Connor Weigman's been good.
Break it down.
Me and you have been very much like, we don't care about Connor Weigman. This is a guy who, despite 5-star expectations and talented teams, has never really done anything. But he transfers to lesser competition in Houston. I know he hasn't been asked to do a whole lot, Kevin, but Stephen F. Austin is a pretty good FCS team. They're kind of in the same realm as like an NAU is. Like they're in that the 25 to 15 range in the rankings. They beat them 27-0. He put up 62.5% completion percentage, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 160 yards. Follows that up with playing Rice, 188 yards, a touchdown, 0 interceptions, one touchdown on the ground. He's like, those stats aren't like exemplary, but they're pretty good. They're decent, and he's had a role in beating both these teams. And I think if you were to look back at maybe some of Connor Weigman's struggles in the past, like I don't know if you would necessarily come away with like he had those efficient outings versus teams he needs to beat, and is finishing the game with like just less than 200 yards, no turnovers, multiple touchdowns every time. Because last year against Notre Dame, he was 12 for 30, threw 2 picks, had 0 touchdowns to start the season. McNeese State, even he had 125 yards and 2 touchdowns, but like he kind of played better against 2 better teams than that this year. And Mizzou last year, he was actually pretty decent in. That was like probably his best game. But other than that, he was pretty bad last season. And so I think the step down in competition could be good for a Connor Weigman. I think he could move up this list for sure for me.
It makes me really, I know we mentioned this earlier on this pod this week, but I'm really excited for that Houston-Colorado game. Like, I think that game is going to be awesome to watch.
Yeah, totally.
And I think Connor Weigman could be a big reason for that. And
that'll tell us a lot about both those schools.
Yes.
And the quarterbacks at those schools for sure.
Yeah, no, it definitely will. And I think hopefully maybe after week 3, Colorado will have a cemented starting quarterback for the rest of the season. Or maybe not. Maybe they'll just go with this weird rotation.
Hopefully not.
I know, but I mean,
you said hopefully.
For the sake of, it's just weird. I hate
for the sake of maybe this Big 12 power rankings graphic, but I want them to go into the Arizona game not knowing at all who their quarterback is, because that tells me that no one has grasped the opportunity when given it. Like, if they still don't know by the Arizona game, which I think is like week 7 or 8 or something like that, who their QB is, then they don't have a QB.
That's what I've been saying.
No, I know that, but like I think early on the season you can at least get away with it. Masked behind like, we like all our options. We wanted to see who we like the most.
Yeah.
If you're in week 8 still being like, we want to see who we like the most, turns out your football team just stinks. But as we move forward on my list here, Kevin, I got to bang out some of these real quick. Sam Leavitt, 8. We've talked about him for much of the last 2 shows. I don't need to hamper on it. I put him here because, I believe in the talent. I think he's a top half quarterback. But if I'm looking at all the guys in front of him that I have here, the 7 guys in front of him, I cannot realistically justify him being put above any of those players, in my opinion. The other people, I can justify him being put ahead of Connor Weigman. I can justify him being put ahead of Avery Johnson, or Brendan Sorsby, unlike your list, Kevin. I don't think those guys have done anything that like necessarily like mean that they need to be ahead as a Phoenix Suns basketball player walks through our studio, just a 6'9" dude in Bates Diop. But that was pretty jarring. But yeah, I think I can't put him above those guys for that reason. Like those 7 players in front of him that I have there, and as we'll discuss right here in a second, like are fantastic and have played unreal football so far this year, have basically not put a foot wrong. Meanwhile, the golden boy, Sunshine himself, has lost his team a game. So that's my thought process there. We'll round out my top 7 quarterbacks who I think are the real contenders for who is actually the best quarterback in the conference. I think that you could make a play at the end of the year that all 7 of these guys are realistically like in that spot, maybe even 8 if you expand it out to Sam Leavitt. But it's crazy the depth at QB in this conference. We'll talk about it right after the break here on the pod.
You see it almost every show on Damon Dog's Head. The branded bills, man. It is a beautiful way to rep your favorite school, your favorite brand. If you have a brand of your own that you want to elevate, branded bills is the best way to do that. Whether you need truckers, fitteds, beanies, tees, snapbacks, and tattoos. They don't do tattoos. But Branded Bills has the most stylish headwear in all of the game. Looking for some gear to make your brand stand apart from the crowd? Branded Bills is the way to go. They have partnerships with over 40 universities, including the University of Arizona, our beloved Arizona Wildcats. You have a Branded Bills specialty, I'll call it a showcase in the campus store down there in Tucson. You can go in, get the most beautiful Arizona hats possible at the Branded Bills campus store spot. Check out their partnership with the Phoenix Suns as well if you're an NBA, Valley fan. And they're a local company from Mesa, Arizona. So if you didn't have, real reason to support them now, they're right here from the Freedom State. So check out Branded Bills, and I got a promo code for you that can save you 15% off your first order. Code BBPHNX at brandedbills.com. That's code BB, Brent Brennan, PHNX for 15% off your first order of the most stylish headwear in the entire game.
Already cheap, so that 15% off just makes them even cheaper. You guys got to get in on Branded Bills while you can, because, Kevin, while supplies last, the shelves are flying off the shelves. Oof. It's actually the beauty of Branded Bills is they'll never run out of hats because they're the ultimate custom headwear and apparel. They'll just print new ones. It really is that simple. And another thing that is as simple as can be is game time. Because when I'm looking for tickets, I'm dead serious when I say this. I know it's a lot of fluff. Sometimes you feel like in the ads, blah, blah, blah. I use Game Time all the time. It's the only place I use from a ticketing standpoint because I know they have the best deals out there on the market. It's not even close. That's backed by their price match guarantee that they will have the lowest tickets. If they don't, you can bring it to their support team and they will lower those tickets for you to that said price point. Game Time is just, they're the superior ticketing app for a multitude of reasons, Kevin. I'll name some of my favorite ones. They have the Game Time Picks feature, which shows you the best value tickets that you could get in the stadium based off of your view, the price point, and whatnot. They quantify that for you so you don't have to think about it yourself and start, doing weird calculations in your head. They show you what that all-in price is going to be right in front of your face. You don't go to your cart and all of a sudden there's two $40 ticket fees for the 2 tickets you just bought. And they show you exactly where you're going to sit before you sit. They show you the view. If there's any obstructions, you name it. They're literally going to take a 360 panorama picture of that seat, and you're going to be able to look around and see if that's something that you want to get in on Game Time. They benefit procrastinators like me and Kevin. It's the cheapest place to buy last-minute tickets. It's the only place to buy last-minute tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. Kevin, what time is it?
Game time.
Kevin is howling in the office as we have Phoenix Suns just about 15
it's
feet
game time.
in that direction.
They know it's game time.
It is game time. It is game time.
I can go tell them it's game time right now and go,
yeah,
all in the studio. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm repping game time. I need the Phoenix Suns to rep game time the same way I do. You know what I mean? That's how I go to Phoenix Suns game. I'm going to the Mercury game tonight via game time. So,
yeah.
Shout out to game time. Damon is going to wrap up the rest of his power rankings. Damon, what do we got?
Let's get into the top 7 here, Kevin. You had Baron Morton way higher than this. And, I think that where you have him is fair. I think where I have him is fair, actually. I think we're really splitting hairs here with a lot of these top 7 guys based off of what they've done so far this year. This is fairly subjective here, what I went with. But listen, Mom's Meatloaf, you're not going to be put above the other 6 guys on this list. That genuinely was my differentiator. Baron Morton chose Mom's Meatloaf for the one meal if he could pick one for the rest of his life. And for that reason, son, you are 7th out of these 7 elite quarterbacks. Sorry.
I mean, I think it shows a level of poor decision-making that you don't want
100%.
in your quarterback,
Kevin,
right?
that's been my point the whole time.
It's like, should I hit the open guy in the end zone
guy.
or should I check down to the meatloaf? And he's checking down to the meatloaf when you got to go to the end zone for like the spaghetti carbonara or
It's
something.
even worse than that, Kevin. It's the game-winning touchdown is a filet mignon or like a ribeye or something. And instead, he was given the choice of, or you can hand the ball off running back style to the free rushing D tackle who's running at you and let him take it into the end zone over here. It's insane. Mom's Meatloaf is insane.
Mom, more meatloaf.
His coach, his own damn coach, Kevin, predicted that he was going to say filet mignon when they said what was one meal rest of Baron Morton's life. What do you think your quarterback's going with? And he goes, oh, probably like a filet or something, I would have to assume. And he goes, I think I'm going Mom's Meatloaf. Baron Morton, horrific decision-making, buddy. You find yourself 7th. He's also very, very good, but he's played nobody as well. So that's part of the reason I put him there. I'm just going to stick with my Devin Dampier take, Kevin.
Your guy. This is your guy now.
I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with it, and I'm going to hold strong. And if he makes me look like a stupid idiot, that's fine. I don't care. Devin Dampier, you're 6th. I think Noah Fifita is better than you. And that's what my thought process was here. I was sitting here going, who should I put here? Devin Dampier or Noah Fifita? And I thought to myself, I like Noah Fifita better if I was starting a random team with random players and I didn't know who my OC was, who my weapons were, blah, none of the above. I'm taking Noah Fifita. If you told me now I get Devin Dampier's offensive line that features first round pick, what's his name? Finau or whatever. And then also Utah's defense that is elite year in and year out, and Kyle Whittingham, then yeah, I'll take Devin Dampier. But I think sports needs to, I think you need to dissect players and quarterbacks when you're ranking like this much more than just like Jalen Hurts won the Super Bowl, so he must be the best quarterback in the league. And that's the one in the NFL that bothers me all the time. It's like Jalen Hurts has the best O-line, D-line, coaching, or not coaching staff, but O-line, D-line, GM, running back, top 5 wide receiver duo. Like, it's stacked. Not everybody on the Eagles can be the best. Some people are putting in a little bit more than others or are contributing to winning more than others. And so that's where with Devin Dampier, I'm like, I just think Noah Fifita has to do more. I think Devin Dampier is very good. I think he's made me look stupid, but I'm taking Noah Fifita if I had to in a mano-y-mano battle here.
Can I be honest with you, Damon?
Sure.
Safe space. If we look at my list, or no, that's actually my power ranking. Sorry. If we look at my quarterback power rankings, and then we look at yours, dare I say you have the perfect list, I feel like? You know, you said this about my power rankings the other day.
Damn, I'm just spit. I'm sitting over here spitting.
You're spitting. This is bars.
Like, you're just in
I'm just kind of like, you know what? Am I an idiot? Have I even watched these games?
This is Kevin looking at my list.
What?
Mind blown.
Yeah, no, I think I really do like your list, and I love when you break down the reasoning for why you have Devin Dampier below a guy like Noah Fifita. I'm like, damn it, he's right. Like, damn it, he's right. Noah Fifita's a better quarterback than Devin Dampier. And I think, can I bring up another scary scenario here? But I'm going to do it in overtime on the AZ Wildcats podcast. You didn't see that one coming, did you? Look, Noah Fifita, this is a scary reality that I'm about to bring up, but, like, Noah Fifita could have been a Utah quarterback at some point. You know what I mean? And
probably this offseason.
Yes, and that's what I'm thinking. And when you brought up, like, the Devin Dampier and how he's looking in Utah's offense, I'm like, could you imagine a Noah Fifita Utah team? Like, I don't want to, but it would, like, and what I'm getting at here is if you take Noah Fifita and put him in Utah, I think he looks incredible.
I think they improve.
And I think, like, having
maybe
him...
not with this OC. Maybe not with Devin Dampier's New Mexico offensive coordinator. That's why I was trying to strip it down past coaches, teammates, everything. I think Noah Fifita is better.
And he should be like one spot above Devin Dampier.
Yeah,
I
they're
think, right?
neck and neck in my opinion.
Yeah.
The battle of the short kings in the Big 12 here. Because I think as far as I'm concerned, these are the only two like short kings here that we have in the Big 12.
Yeah, actually. Wow, holding it down.
My goats.
Holding it down.
I think I'm a Devin Dampier guy now. Like I'm ranking him lower than maybe consensus would have him ranked based off this season, but I think I really like him. Like I think I do, and I like that he proved me wrong. But yeah, I agree, Finn, man. I hopefully Noah is staying next year. I think he will, and here's why. Dash Fifita, his younger brother, is committed to us, will be on the team next season. Dash Fifita has been, taking the baton from Noah as the lead recruiter from his class standpoint. Noah's mom is still out there recruiting. Oscar Rios has a relationship with the Fifita family, so it's not as if Oscar Rios is going to push to be a starter as a true freshman and kick Fifita out. I just think you combine all of that together, and I feel pretty comfortable in saying that, Noah Fifita is going to be there as a starting quarterback his senior season, but you never know. You never know. Moving into my top 4, Kevin, which actually I'll just say Noah Fifita has been unbelievable this season. I think he earns this spot in the top 5. I can't justify putting him above any of the 4 I have ahead of him, Kevin. I could justify it with Sam Leavitt, Baron Morton, and Devin Dampier, who I rate very highly, all 3 of those players. I think they're all very, very good football players. I think Noah Fifita has just been slightly better, and I've rated him very highly the whole time. Even when the world was low on Noah Fifita, this podcast wasn't. That's a fact.
Never.
And we were trying to tell everybody, it was way more of the offensive coordinator situation than it was Noah Fifita himself being just bad and taking a massive step back from the elite level play that we saw the year prior. I think he's definitely much more the 2023 Fifita than he is the 2024 Fifita. He's shown that so far this year. And I expect, maybe not to get that 2023 season, but 90% of it would be electric. 90% of it would be huge for this team and this program. And that's why he's top 5 for me. Coming in at number 4, I got Rocco Becht. And this might be a little bit unfair, Kevin. It's kind of like the Tom Brady enigma, right? Of when Tom Brady was in the league, not when he was in his latter years on the Patriots, when he really started just crushing statistics later in his career, which that was insane that he just got better like that. But for the majority of Tom Brady's career, he was 200 yards per game, protect the football, let his defense work, let his coaches make the right decisions, and come up clutch in the big moments when you need to. And Rocco Becht is nothing if not clutch. He has come up in the big moments, in the big drives consistently. When it's 3rd and 4th down, if the ball's in his hands, he's finding ways to make it happen and converting, whether it's with his legs, with his arm, you name it. Rocco Becht has just been a winner in every true sense of the word so far this season. And, like I said, maybe 4 is a little bit unfair, but I think stylistically, I just can't watch a guy like Rocco Becht and then watch these other more dynamic quarterbacks, Kevin, and be like, yes, that guy needs to go in front of them. Even though he's winning and even though his team's the best so far this year, I just can't justify that in my head.
It's the same reason why I didn't put Baron Morton ahead of him in mine, right? Different positioning on my rankings, but same reasoning as to why he wasn't higher.
Yeah.
Right. And I think Rocco Becht, and this is what I was saying coming into the season, Damon, when we would ask me about Rocco Becht, and he doesn't really move the needle for me. And it's not a disrespect to Rocco Becht, right? To respect to Becht. It's not a disrespect to Rocco Becht, but I just think that there are levels to this, and I think Rocco Becht is at a very high level, but not the highest level. But he if we're talking about doing the most with what you have, I think Rocco Becht is that right now. I think Rocco Becht is kind of maximizing what he's doing at Iowa State. And I think he's doing it at a very high level, and he's managing these games, and he's helping them win huge games this season. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think Rocco Becht just below some of these other guys, but also just above some of the maybe more talented quarterbacks on the list. I like that, Damon.
Yeah. Sam Albert says every single year the Iowa State game is nearly unwatchable. I agree. Kevin said the opposite yesterday on the show. I don't know if you remember, Kevin. You said it was a high-level football game.
Well, I said it.
You said it was a fun football game to watch, I believe.
It was okay. Yeah, I thought it was.
Which is, I think, as much as you don't give yourself credit and you're like, I'm a basketball guy, I'm not really a football guy. If you can sit down in front of an Iowa State game and enjoy yourself, walking away enjoying yourself, buddy, you love foosball. It's your sport.
See, look, the reason I like this so much, Cy-Hawk rivalry, the stakes are super high. Iowa State hasn't beat Iowa in Ames, and I don't know how many years. They were 0 for 7, right? And then I had a bet on the game. I had some pride on the line, so I'm tuning in a little bit more extra to that one than maybe I ordinarily would have. But I do think it was a really, really high stakes, fun game to watch. It wasn't the most, I guess I'm semantics here, but it wasn't like the most fireworks exciting game, but I thought it was fun, right? But I know mileage may vary with that. I also found the Hamzat Chimaev drink interesting. So I'm alone in that island too. So maybe I just like boring stuff from time to time. But that was my opinion on the Cy-Hawk rivalry this year.
You know what? You just like the nitty gritty of the sports. You're just a little freak, Kevin. You like to watch the intricacies of the sport. And in my top 2 or top 3, I should say, the bronze medal goes to Jalen Daniels, who almost took down Mizzou this weekend. Was out to a 21-6 lead at the end of the first quarter, which you just got to hold on to.
It was really 20. I forgot it was 21.
Yeah, I think I think Missouri scored pretty quickly after that 21-6, so it was like 21-13 pretty fast. But yeah, it's that's an unfortunate one there. Jalen Daniels, 223 yards, totaled 3 touchdowns, 1 turnover. I thought he was great in this game at times. The interception was obviously not good, but I think that I'm tired of people acting like context doesn't matter. I'm tired.
Yes.
I'm tired of people being like, when I post my power rankings, being like, you cannot post a team with a loss above a team that is undefeated. No, I actually can. And here's why. Losing to Mizzou on the road when you had a lead for 85% of the game is more impressive to me than blowing out the worst Stanford team that this, world has ever seen. I don't care that BYU beat Stanford 27-3. That team just lost to Hawaii. Arizona beat Hawaii, who beat Stanford by more points than BYU beat Stanford. Transitive property there.
Got you.
Yes.
I landed there.
So it's like I'm not going to sit up here and be like every undefeated team is the best, and every quarterback who has had has the best game is now shooting up to the top of the rankings. That's just not how it works for me. Jalen Daniels has been unreal the 2 weeks prior to this, and he looks like he's playing at a level of football that we haven't seen yet out of Jalen Daniels, which, he's been very good, but this is the best he's looked in my opinion. So I think Jalen Daniels is really good. I actually like him as an NFL prospect too, a lot more than some people do. I think he's just a really good quarterback. And to me, I think he's firmly in my top 3 here. I might not have had it before the season like this, but he's done enough for me this season to feel like he deserves it, in my opinion. Then
real quick on the Jalen Daniels thing. Of the quarterbacks currently on the screen, I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong and I'm forgetting something, outside of Jalen Daniels and maybe a half of that TCU UNC game, I feel like the Jalen Daniels performances we've seen are up there with the Sawyer Robertson-esque performances, as close as anyone else in the conference has gotten.
100%.
And I think he's shown the brightest flashes, I'll say. That's what I'm really getting at. Yeah. I think Jalen Daniels this season has shown the brightest flashes outside of Sawyer Robertson of anyone in the conference. Now, you match that with the low of that interception that you were talking about. Context is very important. I think a couple plays, if not the play before that, you hit your number 1 transfer star receiver, Emmanuel Henderson, right in the hands, and he fumbles it out of bounds. Fumbles it, but drops it out of bounds. That was, I think, a 3rd down or something it was a very high leverage play in the game. Please, chat, go look that up and fact check me if you need to. But very high leverage moment in the game, right before the interception. Jalen Daniels throws it could have been a little bit of a better ball, but it was a pretty catchable ball. Really catchable for a guy like Emmanuel Henderson, who comes to you from Alabama. You expect him to make these plays, and he doesn't. And then it puts Jalen Daniels behind the sticks, and now he throws that interception. So I'm not trying to do the thing that some fans do where you're like, well, if he didn't throw the interception, what would happen? I'm telling you, he did throw the interception, but I'm not putting full fault on him for even being in that position in the first place. He should have got that first down a couple plays first.
Being in that position in the first place is a great way of putting it, Kevin. They're never in that game if it wasn't for Jalen Daniels and his high level of play early on in the game. Because, frankly, a team in Kansas is probably not going to be as talented as a SEC team in Missouri. And you got to win, those specific matchups in the QB battle was essentially that for a large portion of that game. So I think very highly of Jalen Daniels. I like your point that you added on there. Like his highs have been as high as anybody other than Sawyer Robertson so far, and that's why he deserves to be up this high, in my opinion. And then you have Josh Hoover, who, I think if we did this before the season, Kevin, I would have put Josh Hoover as the number 1 quarterback in the Big 12, because I think that I was most confident in him that his floor was elite. Like I knew that Josh Hoover's floor was a top 4 or 5 quarterback in this conference. I couldn't say that about a lot of those other QBs on that list. Maybe I would have said that about Sam Leavitt, but he currently finds himself outside of that top 5. Josh Hoover was great against North Carolina. He didn't play last week, but I think he easily deserves to be top 2 in this conference right now. And then to just round things out, Sawyer Robertson, undisputed, Kevin, undisputed champ, could be the Heisman. Has looked unbelievable. And his story is really cool too. He lost the Baylor quarterback battle twice, did not transfer in this day of college football, especially at that position where typically if you're a good quarterback, which we know Sawyer Robertson is clearly a good quarterback, you go look and find wherever you'll get playing time. I lost the quarterback battle. Maybe it's time to move down a slight step from Baylor. Like, does Memphis need a quarterback? Does UTSA need a quarterback? And then go prove yourself again. He stuck it out, and now he might be the best quarterback in all of college football.
He looks incredible. I said it in my analysis of the power rankings, Damon. Like, the guy could end up in New York at the end of the year, and he could end up the one holding the trophy. You know what I mean? He's looked that good.
Yeah.
And I think that there have been some Heisman lists that have not included him at all. Like, even in a 15-man list, they have not included him at all. And I think that is egregious. I know that there have been some incredible performances across the country. I know that there have been some guys really, really carrying their teams to victory. I think you could say the same about Sawyer Robertson. And I think you could say that Baylor, let me go back and look at their schedule really, really fast, because I almost want to say that, like, does Baylor win anything so far this season if they don't have Sawyer Robertson? You know what I mean? Like, you play Auburn. You lost that game even with Sawyer Robertson, and then you play SMU. And I just feel like without a guy like Sawyer Robertson, that's a shootout that you lose.
It wouldn't even have been a shootout.
And so I feel like if
they came back down 2 touchdowns, Kevin, to tie that one, send it to OT, and then win the game. If they didn't have Sawyer Robertson in that game, they probably lose by like 4 touchdowns.
And can I keep going here with the Sawyer Robertson Heisman train? Because I don't know when he's going to have a game where he doesn't look like this. They play Samford next, Damon.
Wow.
After that, they play ASU, and we're not here to poo-poo ASU all the time.
It's the biggest game ever.
But I will say one thing, like, and you can ask the ASU guys this in their chat. What is the weakness of that team? The secondary is one of the weaknesses of that team. They're inconsistent in the secondary, is ASU. So I don't know if that's going to be the real challenge for Sawyer Robertson.
It was supposed to be the weak.
It
one
was.
of the strengths for sure. And
it was.
It definitely has looked weak so far, especially in that Mississippi State game.
Yeah. Oklahoma State is next after that. Struggling K-State after that. TCU, who looks really good. I'll give them that challenging game. Cincinnati is competitive, but that shouldn't be something that Baylor can't overcome. Then you play UCF. Utah's really good. You play Arizona. Arizona's going to go undefeated this year. I get it. Houston. So I really feel like Sawyer Robertson, while not being on the list for any of these Heisman from some, outlets and sources around the country, like, he could walk away with this thing if Baylor is worth half a damn.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he's certainly going to be a contender, and it'll be interesting to see if he's in that top 4 like finalists at the end of the season, because that would spell probably extremely good news for this Baylor team.
And Dave Aranda.
That's our full rankings. Kevin, if you wouldn't mind just pulling mine back on the screen one more time, because you did say this was the definitive list. So we might as well just read it off. Zane Flores at 16. We got Nico Marchial at 15. Bear Bachmeier at 14. Ryan Staub at 13, making his debut. Brendan Sorsby at 12. Taven Jackson at 11. Avery Johnson at 10. Connor Weigman at 9. Sam Leavitt at 8, as Johnny Venerable would say.
Sam, smell it. You know what I'm saying? What's that smell?
Hashtag do you think we cannot see you? 7, Baron Morton, otherwise known as Mom's Meatloaf. Number 6, Devin Dampier, or as Kevin likes to call him, Devon Dampier.
My bad, Devin.
Noah Fifita at 5. Rocco Becht at 4. Jalen Daniels at 3. Josh Hoover at 2, and Sawyer Robertson at 1. Okay, real quick, sorry to do this to you again, Kevin. Pull that screen back up. Who's the most Texas of all these guys? Because there's some pretty damn Texas folks on this list here.
Can I be real with you?
Sawyer Robertson, I mean, has a dude ever been more from Texas?
Are we talking like name or likeness?
Name, likeness, like all of the above, brother.
I think Sawyer Robertson's super Texas. I think Baron Morton.
Guess where Sawyer Robertson is from?
I don't know, like Corpus Christi.
He's from Lubbock, Texas.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
Texas Tech. What's up?
He's from West Texas. It's like our boy Seth Dagey.
Connor Wagman's from Texas too, right?
I would almost certainly doubt he's gone to Houston and Texas Tech. He looks hella Texas.
He looks super Texas. I think Baron Morton looks super
Texas.
Texas.
Cypress, Texas.
I think if you told me Jalen Daniels was from Houston, I'd listen to you.
Yeah, I think he's from California though.
I thought so. I think so too. But I think those are the most Texas guy on this list for sure.
Yeah. What's it called? Baron Morton is from Eastland, which I believe is in the Lubbock area. So Baron Morton and Sawyer Robertson are both from West Texas, kind of near Texas Tech.
You think they're boys or not?
I bet they're cool with each other. Not quite Jalen Daniels and Noah Fifita, the greatest duo that's ever walked the earth together. Those are literally my sons.
Jalen Daniels and Noah Fifita might be best friends.
They literally might be best friends in my backwards world. I'm a part. It's the three of us.
Like we were at Big 12 Media Day, and I'm
pretty sure that they walked away saying Noah Fifita and Damon Fairall, those are my two best friends. That's what Jalen Daniels said when he hopped on the PJ back home.
Yeah, and we were there, and I don't know what I would give it a shout out, but I genuinely don't know like where the content ended up going to give a shout out. But Snapback Sports, shout out to them. They were doing like a fun interactive game with the players at Big 12 Media Day. They would have them come up and do some sort of like photo guessing game or something like that. Jalen Daniels, I've never heard a guy react louder and more like emotionally is the wrong word, but like just more reactive than Jalen Daniels. Like every question was, oh, no way, you're cheating, da 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 da.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that guy has the most energy out of anybody I've ever seen. And then he sees Noah Fifita, and it's like he's seen his long lost cousin or brother that he loved once upon a time as a child, and he hasn't seen him in 20 years. It was unbelievable.
The Manning Passing Academy, they were, I believe, like they became boys over that experience. So it literally was like seeing his long lost brother. He hadn't seen him in months and was like, literally my brother. You would have thought.
My point was, you would have thought it was years though since they had seen each other, 100%. The way they reacted. But I think that's just kind of dude Jalen Daniels might be. You watch him on the sidelines. I was talking to you about his celebration at the in the middle of the Mizzou game where he does one of these. You know what I mean? I'm just like, where is that coming from, Jalen Daniels? I think that guy just likes to have fun.
That was sick when he did that. I love Jalen Daniels. That's why I part of this is bias. Like I'm not gonna lie. That's why I have Devin Dampier where I have him. It's why I have Fifita where I have him. Like I'm not saying that it's not. But yeah, I do think like every time I see Jalen Daniels do something like that, I'm like freaking coolest guy ever. But okay, so I know we got to get out of here.
We do.
But Kevin, I'm just having fun with this.
Let's do it.
Who fits their school's vibe the most, other than Sam Leavitt? Because we know Sam Leavitt looks like Arizona State University.
I'm gonna be honest.
Who else looks like their university? I think it's definitely got to be like Baron Morton, considering he's from Lubbock and he's playing in Lubbock, like that dude. But also Connor Weigman, Kevin, from Houston.
Before we get any more names out there, I think the two guys that I have as the most looking like, I'm doing air quotes, their school right now, Bear Bachmeier. Look at that smile. You're telling me he doesn't drink soda pop? Look at that smile. You know what I mean?
You're right. Bear Bachmeier is a good one as well. 100%. 100%.
And I think that in a way, Taven Jackson is the most Florida man that ever Florida.
Yeah, no, he looks very Florida. The hair. It's the hair.
It's the hair. It's the curls. He has like a goatee thing going on. That guy
He's got the Odell. Like I'm pretty sure everybody in Florida, every light skin in Florida does have that haircut.
Kevin. Probably. I can't attest. I know that there's a certain hairstyle out there that relates to my hairstyle that I can never pull off. The big Florida locks where they're like blocks and they're just like free form and they're all over the place.
Yeah. Kodak locks?
Yeah, the Kodak style. Yeah. Or like the I don't know, I forget. I think Elfrid Payton had it for a long time in the NBA as well. But yeah, no, I think looks like ratings.
I'm actually I'm
Sam Leavitt, Bear Bachmeier are my two picks. I think.
I know that I just said that like we were just doing the Texas thing. Taven Jackson also a good call there. I know we were just doing the Texas thing, so it's like I don't want to keep harping on that, but I actually was wrong. It is Sam Leavitt, but number 2 is Josh Hoover, and it's not even close. Josh Hoover looks like every one of my buddies in their frat at TCU. Every single one of them. There is a specific TCU look, Kevin, And that is exactly what it is on the screen right there. Josh Hoover is TCU. We should actually do like a full list out rankings of that. That would be really fun. Maybe during the bye week we do something like that.
Maybe,
But
I mean, this is really extensive, but maybe we could do like some weird like lazy jersey swap thing where we can just visualize it and be like, I'm kind of with that. One more name I'll throw out there to make it a little even here, Damon. I really feel as though if you told me Nico Maricol was a Cincinnati quarterback, one of those. I feel like honestly he does look like West Virginia. The man looks like he has been to a mountain 1 or 2 times in his life. But
he's from here.
Well, I mean,
he was high school teammates with Trey Spivey, Tay Brown, Grayson Stovall, all those boys at Hamilton. That was their QB.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with it. Then maybe I'm wrong on that, but yeah, I don't know. It was fun. That is a fun question, Dave.
Yeah, that is a fun conversation to have. Finn Man, I promise you, we will be back tomorrow talking Kansas State the entire time, except for when Anthony Del Orso is on our show tomorrow, because we will be joined by Arizona's starting small forward from last year, Anthony Del Orso, the man from down under.
We're talking meat pies with Anthony Del Orso.
We're going to be talking with Anthony Del Orso tomorrow on our program, so be here at 2 p.m. We will go live. We will bring him on, and we will talk to Anthony Del Orso. I believe we will also bring on Justin Spears tomorrow on the back end of the show and preview Kansas State all throughout the rest of the week. We're going to go just for the people at home. Finn Man, this is for you and anybody else out there. It's going to be tomorrow, Wednesday, 2 p.m., with Anthony Del Orso, Justin Spears. Thursday, we'll be doing full preview, betting preview, our picks for the weekend on the gambling slate at 2 p.m. again, and then on Friday before the 6 p.m. kick on Friday, I believe. Kevin,
so.
For Kansas State, we'll be live 30 minutes prior to kickoff, doing our pregame show per usual at 5:30, always 30 minutes prior to the opening kickoff. We'll be live for our postgame show 10 to 15 minutes after the clock hits 0. That's our schedule throughout the rest of the week. We are fired up for this game on a Friday. A fired up Friday, Kevin?
Oh, man. That's going to be a crazy fired up football Friday post-game and pre-game show. It's something you're really not going to want to miss.
If we win, we might just start off just like screaming into the mic here. So you're going to want to be there for that. Appreciate everybody for being here today. Where did we go wrong on our Big 12 quarterback rankings? Let us know in the comments what
More
you
importantly,
would have changed.
Because we know Damon's list was right. Where did I go wrong?
Where did Kevin go wrong?
And how did my list differ from Damon's? Because that's where I went wrong.
Yes, of course, because we, of course, know mine is the definitive Big 12 quarterbacks power ranking. But that's going to do it for us today. I'm Damon Dog. You can follow me at Damon DAWG. That's Kevin Thomas. You can follow him at Kevo Posts. And you can find us at PHNX_Wildcats on all social media, except for TikTok. We are at AZ Wildcats Pod. And Kevin is doing really, really cool things over there on our TikTok channel. So make sure that you guys go support what he's been working super hard on. Sam Alberts throws in a nice little buzzer beater here. Sam Leavitt should have been 17.
You're right. Kaidon Salter's played some games, man.
True. Julian Lewis has thrown a couple passes. But we can't forget Braden Locke.
Oh, true. And Hoss Haney. I mean, he started that game. He started the game at least. Man.
There you have it.
Sorry.
We're gonna go back. We're gonna review and we're gonna see if we can correct some things over here on the AZ Wildcats pod. But we appreciate everybody for being here today, and we'll catch you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Anthony Del Orso Day. Be there, be square, don't miss it. Peace out. Bear down.
And go Cats. Let us know where we went right or wrong.
We all silly like the mayor.